I mean figuratively. Don't do it in.
No one
crime.
no one commits murder that easily. It's not,
Contemplative murder too. Your own record.
Yeah, that's why we like watching horror movies. We want to see people get killed.
Yeah. I think we do.
That's a release.
We do go through the mental exercise, and we actually commit murder in our imagination.
That's why you like to watch Jaws kind of stalk someone and eat them. You're like, yeah, fuck you.
Then in your better moment, you think about the consequences of you going into prison or all the things. Then you wake up from that imagination, right?
Well, I mean, it's one thing if you're watching that and you're getting out of your system, and it's another thing if you're watching that and you're constantly watching stuff like that, and it's just it's helping you get the courage to do something in your life, right? Which, I mean, sadly,
I don't know. No one does that.
Of course. Where do you think all the shootings come from?
I think if people doesn't have...
all the people in the U.S. The
shooting
tracker
video games or something.
No, seriously, if people think they have nothing to lose except this vengeance, I think a lot of people will just choose the vengeance as the last thing they do.
Yeah, and that's where
but a lot of these guys
double murder.
A lot of these guys are prepared for suicide though. That's the thing.
Exactly, the vengeance they do, and they don't want to suffer the consequence of 35 years or life in prison. That's why they kill themselves. Because they're killing themselves, they're taking others with them in a way. Yeah. So.
But that's the thing, right? It's you have to be careful of that if you really don't want to, because all the things that they show, like the games and the movies that people watch and stuff, it kind of helps fan the fuel to the fire, and if people end up acting on it, right?
I think
you mean culture nowadays?
I think usually for healthy mind, simulation is not bad thing. I'm sure everyone contemplated murder who's bullying you, whatever.
Well, like I said, right? It's one thing if you're relieving some stress, but still, it's better to kind of do it in a more constructive way.
In your imagination, yes.
But a lot of whatever killers, they found that they were busy, shooting up. They did a lot of games where it's shooting games, or they practice shooting in the backyard, or they watch a lot of the movies that you're talking about where you're joking.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah, whatever, right? Or even that movie Purge, right? Where the idea is just one day, no consequences, you can go out and kill anybody you want, and it depends, if you how you take it.
In a way, that's right too.
Because those kind of things, when you watch it over and over again, or play those games over and over again, and really you feel it coming from within you, and it's growing, you're kind of you're fanning those flames, you're like just if you're already angry and you're frustrated,
fantasy.
And then the thing is, fantasy, I mean, it turns into reality, I mean, everything that anything here, like a table or whatever, it all started as a thought, you know what I mean? So you have to be careful of what you're thinking about,
For normal people, video game killing will not transfer to actual killing, but in a psychologically desperate, deprived people, maybe it may give them I guess more practice in their head.
But I think it has to do with the realism of the games too. So remember when Mortal Kombat came out, and the first two?
It's not real at all, though.
Okay. It's not real at all. So
actually, the graphics is like realistic. Yes.
Yeah, some parent groups come out and they're like, oh no, it's very violent. But back then, everything was cartoony, right? Kids could totally differentiate. Okay, yeah, that's retarded. No one can do all that stuff, right? But now you have kids playing, was it Call of Duty or something?
So
like murder sims, right? Like, I don't know how realistic they are.
The Hitman.
But I know
Assassin's Creed.
So the armies, the United States armies, they're recruiting people through shooting games. Right? Now they have their own Twitch channel, and I think at recruiting events they actually have...
Oh, they're gamifying murder, that's why.
So, first-person shooters set up so kids would go play, right? I mean, we started with Mortal Kombat, where it's just like, okay, you're never gonna get violent playing these games, but you know, the line is kind of merging, right? It's just like video games are just, you know, some video games are just, you know, edging towards
Too
you
real.
know, too real, I think. And you know, I think normally, you're a normal person would be like, okay, I know the difference between
Right.
first person shooter and the difference between, you know, just going out and rampaging. But if that game entices you to go join the army, right? You're in the army to kill people, right? You're not, dude, let's just face it, you're not defending America, right?
Well, first of all, some percentage of us will be the psychopaths and
Yeah.
sociopaths.
Yeah.
You cannot help it. Right? You know,
Yeah.
they lack the empathy power, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, not anyways, but it is true. Yeah, we may be preparing some killers in that way of simulation, but usually, normal case, actually, it is healthier to vent your anger out or simulate it out in some way. I remember reading interesting story that in US, back then when everyone was watching TV, what they noticed was that every time there's a report of like suicide rate goes up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that or even Columbine or anything, murder, suicide, everything, right? The rate goes up whenever there's a more reporting covering the suicide, right?
Yeah.
And this is like called like Welder's effect or something, where the named after the young Welder's Sadness or Sorrow, that book Goethe wrote 19th century, I guess. Anyways, so what they did was that they stopped reporting on suicide
And suicide rate went up.
suicide
This
rate
was
went
America?
down. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
So that's
yeah.
what I'm kind of talking about, right? I think, I mean, it really depends on how, ultimately, like whether people go out and do crazy stuff, like what their, music is saying or TV is saying or games. It's, there's certain people's how they're processing it, right? So maybe a lot of people won't do it, right? But there's a certain amount of people that, if they process it, they're just looking for a excuse or outlet or a plan in order to, act out, then you're adding fuel to those things, right? But overall still, that's what I'm talking about, is that what you're saying with the suicides, right, is kind of comes down to like energies, right? It's like a negative and positive energy. So if you're, you're constantly kind of promoting a negative energy in whatever way, whether it's suicides or killing people or whatever, then it kind of it promotes more of that energy. Whereas if you, are promoting more positive energy, like people are being happy, people get along, people whatever, I mean, that's how you also get the positive effect, right? So that's how a lot of people that have cancer, they laugh their way to remission, right? Is by watching movies that they're constantly laughing and watching happy, funny movies. That's how some people got through to remission of cancer, right? It's because they're, dumping all these positive energy where they're laughing and have a good time. And they're so happy that they end up being healthy and they actually get over cancer. So that, that's what I'm saying about the, that, negative versus positive energy. If you dump good stuff in, the good stuff will come out, right?
But I
try to minimize all the negative shit that you dump in.
But I think it's because, okay, let's take it from the internet point of view, right? The theories they have. Like, I think Facebook, or anyways, the news programs, trending topics are usually the ones that are full of hate and negative stuff, and people love that, right? And the internet seems like it just wants to just dump that on people, just addictive stuff. Like, it's just, positive things like, you very rarely hear about, kind of news programs talking about the benefits of, taking a hike.
Yes.
Or going for a swim.
But that goes back
right?
to that reptilian brain of ours, right?
Yeah, but the thing
is,
we're I think we're force fed nowadays. Force fed just terrible shit that I think people are just really lazy. They're so used to the internet. Like, the internet is like, gamified, right? People say everything is like a gambling. You know, you open your app and it says, you know, sometimes you get a pretty girl, sometimes you get this and that. It's like gambling. You know, you get a different thing, and you're hoping for.
Sometimes you.
Yeah, you're hoping for something nice or something cute or something, right? And I think a lot of the times other media outlets, they'll slip in this, you know, very negative stuff. And it's designed to keep you hooked, right? Everything,
Yeah.
you know, you're very hooked on this kind of negative stuff, and it's like addictive. And people don't know enough. Like, you're very aware of yourself and where you are in life, right? I think there's a lot of people, me included, sometimes I turn on the internet, I'm like, ooh. And then half an hour later, I'm like, oh, fuck, it happened again. I wasted half an hour on the internet, right?
And you're watching all negative stuff.
Yeah.
And then you feel
It's
like
like-
shit.
Then I feel
And
like
then you're
shit.
like, why do I feel like shit?
And then I grab a coffee and they'll start, because I feel like shit, I'll just continue shitting,
Yeah.
right? And when that happens, I end up doing less. But some days I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn on some really nice music. I'm just going to listen to music all day. And I end up in the basement drawing storyboards, writing, you know.
And do you feel better?
Yeah, of course. I did a lot of stuff, you know. I'm creating and I'm on my game plan, right? Sometimes you just don't know it. And I think there's a lot of people without willpower out there and don't have that self-awareness to even know that they have a problem. They just turn on the internet. It's normal. I'm just going to look,
that's
these
the
guys
thing,
did
right?
something bad. Let's just
So that's like
write a dirty comment or something, you know, and just get everyone in this negative echo chamber, right? That I think, you know, a lot of people are stuck in that, and it's
So
very
that's what I'm
difficult to
saying
pull
is
them out.
it goes back to the reptilian
Yeah.
brain that you're talking about. It's constantly trying to figure out how it can survive, so it has to look for threats. So our brain is naturally geared towards looking for what's wrong so that we can try to protect ourselves from
Yeah.
it. So that's why we thrive on that, and the news knows that, and the media knows that. And so they feed you all the stuff that's wrong, all the stuff that you have to watch out for. And that's why they dump all the negativity, because it attracts you more than, you know, beautiful puppies being born or whatever. No one's like, oh, you know, like, I mean, there's some people,
Yeah.
but, right?
It's very sad that just people just can't dig themselves out of it. They don't know there's a
most people
problem,
don't
right? Yeah.
understand that
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
the
yeah,
brain,
yeah.
right? Is that, you know, you're just trying to always survive. If you know, learn that one point, then you, and also you realize that news media and everything, that's how they thrive, right? Like they're only going to thrive by you
Yeah.
continually watching their stuff and listening
Yeah.
to their stuff. So they're constantly feeding you what your brain needs. But if you understood that connection, so for me, I understand it when I wake up. Like, for one, when I go to bed now, I shut off my phone. I didn't usually do that. I usually like to be on 24/7, you know, just in case. But now I'm like, you know, if I shut it off and then I don't hear any beeps and, you know, whatever in the morning. And same thing when I wake up in the morning, I don't, you know, look at my phone for the first hour or two or whatever, right? If I'm expecting a call or whatever, I might check, but you know, that's it, right? Otherwise, I don't check it, and I feel so much better because I'm in control of, you know, this little box that we have now that is constantly trying to trigger us to come look at Facebook, come check out Instagram, come, you know, look at the bad news. All my emails, even though I'm connected now with actually a lot of, you know, positive information that's coming into me, all my emails, even they're trying to, I realize that, you know, they're constantly trying to do FOMO on me. They're fear of missing out. They go, oh, don't miss this, don't miss that. The Black Friday this, Black Friday, oh, this is the last time, this is the last warning. And I'm like, all these emails, I do want it from these people because they're all about learning, you know, positive things and good things. But they're using the same strategy. And so what I had to do recently is I've been just purging all these emails because I was starting to feel overwhelmed I'm like, why am I feeling overwhelmed? Like, I'm trying to get away from all this, you know, media and this and that. These are emails that I want, but the thing is, I realize I'm like, all of them are using the same strategy also. They're trying to sell me on good information that's good for my body, good for my mind, good for my spirit, but they're using the same strategy of fear on me.
if you pay $9.99 a month, I will make you healthy and
Yeah, so
Wealthy and-
now I realize that, and I have to get rid of all those emails. So I focus on the main things that I want to focus on moving towards, but all the other stuff, I kind of appreciate them, that they're stuff that I'm interested in, but all the FOMO that they're trying to do to me, I'm like, no,